Hello, everyone. It's week 4. It's Between the Horns, presented by your Southern California Toyota dealers. I'm JB Long, in studio with Maurice Jones-Drew and D'Marco Farr. I guess that means it's Thursday?
It is Thursday.
If you say so, are we sure?
Yes, it's Thursday.
Is
I
it?
think.
It's flying by.
How are we on sleep?
What? What's that?
Yeah, I was going to say, we just landed last night.
3:30, wake up, let's do it again. And it's an L week. I hate L weeks. I hate short weeks, and I hate L weeks combined. It's almost a
L
nightmare.
week?
Lost week.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah,
terrible.
Short memory week.
Big time. I like it.
I told him there's a lot of reasons why I know I could never do what you guys did. Be professional athletes, play this game at the highest level. In part because the Bengals have already beaten me twice. You're not supposed to let a team beat you twice. I think they still got me. Here I am on Thursday. I'm not over it yet.
Hey, listen, it's you know what's funny? When you're playing, you turn the page quickly. Every time, win or loss, you're going to turn it just because you're like, I got it. There's a new challenge. There's a new person I'm going against. For me, it would be like I'm going against Darius Leonard this week. Whatever Logan Wilson did to me last week, I have a different animal that I got to go against, that I got to make sure it doesn't get the best of me. But now, as a person in the media, I've lost a couple times already this year.
Is it fine to be salty though? Like, speaking to our audience, I kind of like
player-wise or media-wise.
Nah, I think players. I think this building is beyond.
Players moved on in the locker room. I mean, right after the game, you got to move on. But yeah, you can still be salty because the more you watch it, the more frustrating you're going to get. There were opportunities to win that game, multiple opportunities to win that game, and it just didn't happen. And we kept saying this: keep playing with Joe Burrow at home. Keep letting him hang around. He's going to find a way to beat you. And sure enough, here we are sitting on an L week.
JB, I think you said it best. Was like, it just felt like they couldn't go 0-3. Like the ball bounced for them not to go 0-3 every time, right? It was like a step play here or this there. But what I loved about what McVay said is it's a learning week. We got to figure out our way to get, like, when you have a team where you can put them down, it's the little things that you have to do to get them down. It's not always the big play. It may be like a right step here, making sure we're in the right protection, or we're looking the ball in as we're catching it and it's not, bouncing off our hands. All those little things are going to kind of become that big thing that you want at the end of the day. But listening to McVay this week, I love the learning, right? A loss is a chance to learn. You can win, you can learn in wins too, but a loss is your sense of urgency starts to pick up because you understand that one of those opportunities you had, you just let it slip away.
It does depend how you redeem it, right? If you do learn from this, if it does bear fruit down the road, so be it. I think we can all live with that. I think the tough part to see right now is it feels like we might be looking back on this loss from Monday night in December or January and realizing how costly it was.
You mean for like playoff seeding or something like that?
Yeah,
well, yeah, I mean,
who knows what the implications
long-term, short-term, it's going to hurt. This just became a fish story. This is one that got away from you, and it's one you could have won. So, and it's coming off one that you fought hard against San Fran that you might have won if you had done some things differently. So, but you have to turn the page, move to Indy. Like we said, you can't let one loss or one team or Cincinnati, as it makes it right now, you can't let them beat you twice.
The part that I do like about it, the disappointment, is that I can feel from our audience, from our fan base, their expectation level bounce back in those first 2 weeks. Because, I mean, there's still an opportunity there to go 2-2 without one of your best players, Cooper Kupp, coming home to face the Eagles in week 5. And I think most of us fair-minded would have signed up for that coming out of training camp when you know that he's got the hamstring injury.
No question.
Against the toughest start to any NFL schedule. So here we are, upset about the fact that you went on the road and missed a golden opportunity to take out a team that's been in the last 2 AFC Championship games.
I think the last 2 games has been like that, really. I mean, because it's the same mistakes, right? If you look at San Fran, you put San Fran in an uncomfortable position. You made them blitz you, right? You made them blitz you in order to get pressure, which is what you want. I think in Cincinnati, you had the same opportunities. That first drive, you go down and you get points, not 3, you get 7. It looks completely different. And I think the lesson learned is that it's what happened after that last drive of the first half with the San Fran, where something bad happens. They go down and score, and then it kind of all comes crumbling down. Same thing happened in Cincinnati. After that first drive, you didn't get that touchdown. All of a sudden, it all starts crumbling down. How can we adjust to make that happen? Because it's the NFL. Things are going to happen. Right? They have guys that get paid a lot of money. Joe Burrow's the second richest quarterback. He's going to make plays. He's going to do some things, right? The Niners have top 10 highest paid players all over the place. They're going to make plays. So you have to understand that. How do we kind of take that shot from those teams and then be able to get back on track and make it
You got to
work.
learn. Well, if you want to go Denny Green, then you can go Denny Green for
They are who they thought they were.
You are who they thought they were, and then, bang the podium and just move on. Here we go.
Before we move on, I think let's just address maybe the most common criticism or concern head on, which is still a talking point this week, which is why not just run the ball? And we're preaching to the choir over here. We got our just run the ball expert in the house.
Well, he should know. I mean, this is the thing. I mean, running the ball is not just running the ball. And what it does to a defense, it keeps you on balance. It keeps you off balance. I guess that's a better way to say it, because you have to honor the run. If I don't have to honor the run as a defensive lineman, defensive end, guess what I'm going to do? I'm flying off the football coming after your quarterback. But if you just run it a little bit to keep me honest, you take some smoke off the passer. You've seen this before. You know what it does.
Let me give you Mike LaFleur, offensive coordinator, right? Because I think what he says here is reminiscent of what Sean McVay said into his headset during the Super Bowl, which is like, I'm not running it anymore. Like, this is pointless. We're not getting anything out of this. I'm going to do what makes sense for our offense. Here's Mike LaFleur midweek at the podium to the media, responding to why the discrepancy between the pass attempts versus the rush attempts.
What we're always going to want to do is still to help our pass protection out, still continue to get a run game going, not abandon the run in the fourth quarter. And that's something you always want to do. The thing about what Lou does in Cincinnati is they don't allow you at times. I mean, you want to stay balanced, but if they're telling you you're not running the ball here, you're not running the ball here based on the punt block type pressures that they're bringing in those situations. And so there was a lot of runs called that unfortunately had to get checked out of it into some passes, and some of the results were good and some of them weren't as good, So again, you always want to stay balanced, but you're also not going to just go beat your head against the wall if they're saying you're not going to do it.
I understand what Mike LaFleur is saying, and I've been in part of offenses where it's like we want to run into an advantageous look. I get that, but running the football isn't just you're just running the football into a wall. You're setting things up. You're setting up play action down the road. You're protecting your offensive linemen, right? You're putting them in a situation where they can go forward and not have to always go back. You're allowing your quarterback to take a play off, right? We talk about this a lot in the national media about Josh Allen, why down late in the year he struggles because he has to run the football. He has to throw the football. He's always has to be on. When you run the football, it allows your quarterback to just take a deep breath and be like, yeah, I can hand the ball off, go do your thing, right? I can reset for a play. And it's important. Running the football, no matter if it's an advantageous look or if they're blitzing or whatever it may be, running the football, it allows your offense to have a mindset of saying, we don't care what you're in, we're going to come forward and run at you. And then two, it allows your offensive linemen to kind of dig in and wear down that defensive line.
Balance doesn't have to be just running it, though.
No, it doesn't.
Balance can be using all corners of your play sheet.
Yeah.
Like if you want now routes, if you want quick slants,
that's a great part of your running game.
To work great. Like,
They
it doesn't
were
have to
there.
be turned around and handed to Kyron.
They were there. Some of those, little out routes to Kyron, they just weren't connecting. Either Stafford was high or Kyron would drop it. So you had opportunities to make them pay.
But I also
you just
think,
missed it. Yeah.
I also think running the football, though, like running the football, regardless of what the count is, it becomes a mindset, right? And that mindset is we don't care what you're in. We're going to go and do our job, right? We're going to go off the ball. We're going to protect our offensive line. As soon as Alaric Jackson went out, we should have ran the football a couple times. I
don't want to put words in your mouth, but why not even sooner? Like, you're going into a game where the opposing quarterback is wounded. They've only scored 20 points on offense through 2 weeks all season. If your mentality is we're going to design a game plan and a disposition to go in there and win this game 16-9.
That wasn't the game plan, though.
And then so that's where I think a lot of us are still trying to reconcile
the game plan.
what happened in Monday Night Football. It's because there were parts of that game, the game management decisions that were conservative.
Right.
We're going to kick field goals on fourth down in the red zone, right? We're not going to go for fourth down and short from our own territory. We're going to punt and play defense, except for the fact that it looked like they were still trying to put up 70 like the Miami Dolphins.
So I think going into the game plan that week, it was like, hey, we got to go up and score 30 because we know they can't do that. Right now they're hampered, they're limping. So we got to go up there with the mindset if we're trying to go score 30.
So put them in chase mode, tee off on Burrow.
And if you did, the game is over.
Right. If you get to 20, if you get to 20 points before they get to 9, it's over. It's done.
They can't
because they can't come back, right? Yeah. But what happens is the ball started bouncing a different way. And so now you get stuck in no man's land like, okay, we got to get points now. We just got to get points. Like, okay, we're up. It's like, and then you're playing in this one score game, but mentality wise, all week you've talked to your players and all week that you've told yourself, like, we got to get to 30, right? The goal is to get to 30 so that they can chase. and he just never could get there. And then eventually, they start running the ball. They kind of make an adjustment. They start running the ball. They score the first touchdown, and then it's you're in chase mode.
And don't get me wrong, they weren't far off. If you were a little bit better at QB, hitting a few things out of the backfield, this is a completely different ball game. You pick up 1 or 2 more third downs than you did in that football game. This is a completely different ball game. They just missed, and it was the perfect opportunity for Cincinnati to get going on defense, and they got after you.
I think that screen game being disjointed, the disconnect on the check down right now with Kyron Williams is really hurting. That would have been the perfect game to check it down, just be in your bag in the screen game. Except right now, I think the most disconnected part of the Rams offense might be throwing the ball to your lead back.
Yeah, I think, and that's an issue. That's an issue that not necessarily it's a Stafford issue. I think it's more of a Kyron issue of just looking the ball in.
Wait a minute. Stafford was missing high.
There were times.
A few times.
So this is the thing. I'll tell you this.
Yeah.
His misses that were high, Kyron couldn't even get to him.
That's what I'm saying.
What I'm talking about are the ones where he hits you right in the hands.
You got to have that.
You got to have them.
I'm right there with you.
But I also say this too. Like, once you start getting hit in the back, all bets are off as a quarterback. I coached quarterbacks in high school, and I've seen it. And I've played with quarterbacks that have been hit. Once they get hit in the back, where they don't see it coming, they get hit. They get spooked. Because now all of a sudden, I don't know what the clock is. I don't know where my clock is. I don't know. I can't trust that I can get back on my 5th step and go through my progression. And that's why it's so important. I tell people this all the time. It's so important to hit the quarterback when he doesn't see you.
Yeah.
Because it speeds up their clock right away. And it's a natural instinct of getting blindsided. If you ever see a defender get blindsided, now they start to look around at everybody again.
Head on a swivel.
Exactly. He's not hitting his gaps the right way. So that's the part of football that I think this game came out of. It was a couple times where Hendrickson kind of jumped on his back or got him from behind, and Stafford couldn't see him. And then it started to speed up the clock. And then that's where you started getting, he's throwing the ball high because he's trying to get out quicker. And there were some different things.
I haven't seen a guy win that fast in a long time. Really. That's just being honest. And he's a good pass rusher. He's, dare I say, great pass rusher. But I haven't seen a guy win that clean that fast in a long time. When a right end can just take over a football game. So either help the guy, chip on him, or run the ball to offset it. But you got to know your quarterback is at risk now.
Quick moment for me to play apologist, and none of this excuses losing Monday or being 1-2 where the Rams are right now. But I do want to reinforce just how small a sample size we're talking about so far, and really the last 2 weeks, how many bounces have gone against the Rams, like tipped interceptions the last 2 weeks. The 49ers fumbling 3 times, one of them off George Kittle's thigh, right in the hands of Christian McCaffrey. Rams don't recover any of those. Evan McPherson's field goal from 48 kisses off the right upright, goes through. Tutu stepping out of bounds. I still haven't seen clear and obvious to overturn that call on the field, but Sean McVay says leave it behind. I guess I'll do that too. But how about Zach Taylor saving a touchdown? Tyler Higbee wide open in the third quarter. Like even a coach's 40 time is impacting games in a way that I think over the long haul, I'm just preaching patience. I think in time those will even out.
The universe always balances itself out.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
You know it doesn't.
The football gods always are right.
See?
They're always right.
That's how you
just can't beg for those breaks.
They'll come. You just got to keep working. They'll start to all of a sudden the snapper's going to bounce off of George Kittle's thigh, and then it's going to bounce right to Aaron Donald. He's going to run for a touchdown.
You're a football
and
coach.
That is the football gods.
You were definitely a football coach.
I'm just telling you that is just how it works.
You got to get them. And look, with takeaways and turnovers, it seems like you can't get them, and they bounce away from you, and then all of a sudden they come to you in droves. Right?
Yeah, come in bunches,
and you got to be ready. I thought the one takeaway in that game was fantastic.
Oh.
I mean, what a play. You're not going to see a better cornerback play than that this year. That was tremendous to make that play.
Comes at a great time, too, because he's going to go face Michael Pittman Jr., who might be the best contested catch receiver in the AFC. Who knows? And those are the types of plays that you're going to have to fight for, because when they do throw it, they're looking for him.
Lock him down. Yeah.
Get to the Colts in more detail in just a moment. One thing that does seem to be breaking the Rams' way, we hope, is the injury report. Once again, Joe Noteboom was a full participant on Wednesday, so hopefully he's in the lineup on Sunday, and we'll see about Alaric Jackson, who did not practice midweek with his hamstring injury, although Les Snead, the general manager, gave us reason for optimism on Monday, and hopefully that pulls through.
Yeah, it's funny, like with Joe Noteboom, when he goes down or if something goes wrong, you just have to ignore it, like kind of like when your kid gets the boo-boo. Like if you don't look at it, then it doesn't hurt. So he's got to play. He is so important to this offense, to this offensive line, because one, he's your starting right guard, and two, he's the most versatile guy you have. So if you do lose a left tackle, that's the guy you're going to have to put in, which I was surprised he didn't go over in this football game. And you have Tremaine Ankrum ready to play at right guard. You got him ready for situations like this. So if you're down in Alarg Jackson this week, you should feel confident running your entire offense with Noteboom at left tackle.
We finished in the booth in Cincinnati by contrasting Monday night to Sunday in terms of the opposing quarterback that you're going to face. Joe Burrow on one leg, passing it nearly 50 times.
Flat-footed.
Versus the most athletic quarterback to come into the league since, and I left you a blank to fill in. I think you said Cam Newton or Lamar.
Either one.
Take
you
your
decide.
pick.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. Put them together. Mix them up.
So Anthony Richardson still has to officially clear the concussion protocol, but it looks like he's going to for the Colts. They're running it well with Zach Moss. What else do we know about Indy?
Well, the thing about Indy is they understand what he can and can't do. He's not going to throw the ball outside the numbers. He can't see that well enough at this point.
I don't think he has a pass beyond 20 yards.
Exactly. Yeah, it's not deep and it's going to be short things, but they're going to run the football. And he's a load. He's 250 pounds. And he's a kid. What I mean by a kid is he's fresh. He's green. He doesn't have much wear and tear on his body.
21 years, 132 days old.
Yeah, that may be
the youngest starting quarterback against the Rams.
That's one of those things like, well, your son, you playing basketball with your son, he dunks on you. Where'd that come from? Like bro,
dunking on you?
No, I'm just saying, not me, but I'm just saying, before he dunks on me, we're fouling. Hard foul. Old 1980s
oh my gosh.
foul. But anyways, I'm just saying, like, you have a guy that is just a little bit different type of game plan, and so defensively, the physicality, you're going to have Byron Young in your edges. Hoyt, they're going to have to understand you have to have eye discipline now. Mm-hmm. Like, you can't just take off and run like you're going against Burrow and just run. No. You can't do that because this kid will pull the ball and take off and go to the house. And everything they have designed has a quarterback keep or boot or quarterback draw or something off of it. So understand that the running game is just not going to be Zach Moss. It's also going to be quick screens. Mm-hmm. It's also going to be slants. Everything is they're running Philadelphia's offense. So it's going to be triple option all the time with a guy who's actually a threat, more of a threat than Jalen Hurts. So it's going to be a tough task. And the other thing is this, their offensive line playing so much better.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
They're playing so much better now because it's not just Matt Ryan turn around and hand the ball off to Jonathan Taylor. There's so many different avenues. You have to have your eyes where they're supposed to be. And if you do, you'll find success. If you don't, it's going to be a long day.
They have a guy named Fries on their offensive line. Isn't that perfect? Fries.
Yeah.
Big time. But if I was Raheem Morrison calling this game, 1st and 10, I have to put Aaron Donald on the right side, right over Quentin Nelson, because anybody else is going to get moved.
Right.
He's an absolute dump truck in there. So 1st and 10, I need somebody to combat that. Now, obvious passing downs, let him go pick on somebody else or roam. But 1st and 10, they like to run that way. I'm putting my strongest guy right on Quentin Nelson and say, stalemate, have fun with it.
Rookie quarterbacks 1-7 against the Rams starting in the Aaron Donald era. So he wreaks havoc on opposing first-timers. The one win, Tua Tagovailoa in Miami, he had very little to do with that victory. So really the Rams should be perfect against starting rookie quarterbacks with Aaron across the line.
Yeah, you know what? I would also like the Rams to play. What they did against Cincinnati is they started getting in guys' faces. They weren't playing off. Mm-hmm. You started to see that pass rush get there. I would like to see them do that same thing this week as well. Have him hold it a tick longer and make sure you have a guy spying on him. But that'll allow Aaron Donald and company to get there and get after the quarterback as well.
Now, despite having already started backups at quarterback, running back, and center, Indy is alone in first place in that AFC South, 2-1. Last time they had sole possession of that division was Week 8, 2019. Wow. And what's interesting to me is how Gus Bradley is handling this defense. They have been a problem. Second in the NFL in sacks and forced fumbles. A strip sack in 3 consecutive games to start their year. But the way they're doing it, Maurice, is not what I think of when I think of a Gus Bradley defense. They blitzed 21 times in Week 3 against Lamar in Baltimore.
Well, I think the thing with Lamar in Baltimore, Lamar has struggled a little bit with understanding kind of the protections and different things just because it's a new system. He's trying to figure out different stuff. It's not as much quarterback run as it used to be with Greg Roman. Todd Monken's coming in with a more pro-style offense. But this is the thing, and Gus was my coach, and he believes in it. If we can't get to the quarterback with 4, we will send everybody. We're going to affect it. He's all about affecting and protecting the quarterback. So defensively, they're going to try to find ways to get there. And they have linemen that can rush. You have Buckner, who's been a thorn in our side, that can go. Samson Ebukam, who's done it here, then went to Niners, did it. Like, they have guys that can go. Quiddy Pay. There's a bunch of guys that can make those plays. But if you're not getting there in enough time, or if we don't think we can hold up on the back end, he will let it go. And which opens up windows for you as a quarterback. I don't know if they're going to blitz Stafford that way, because a team, when you start to blitz, and as soon as they pick up the blitz, there becomes windows. I mean, there's holes everywhere. So I'm interested to see how he'll play the Rams more than he'll play Lamar, right? Like, when Lamar, you're blitzing to keep him in the pocket, make sure that like he doesn't take off and run. You're trying to close all the little rush lanes that he has. But it's going to be interesting to see what they do against the Rams this week, just because Stafford's not a threat running the ball like Trevor Lawrence was in week 1 or like Lamar was in week 3. So
it's hard to watch anybody playing Lamar on defense, because you're going to have to change stuff because of how dynamic he is. But some of that stuff will carry over to, this Sunday versus the Rams. Look, they're going to call as much pressure as they need to get home. Like you said, if Buckner's eating, or if Samson Ebukam is having a great game and he looks good, if they're getting after you with 4, then who wouldn't want to drop 7 and make Matthew Stafford find a hole before he gets hit? But if not, expect the world, because that's what Cincinnati gave you. And some of that stuff got home. So there's going to be a lot of carryover from Monday night to Sunday if they can't get pressure.
Well, you're supposed to do that, right? You're supposed to make sure the faucet is it still leaky?
Yeah.
We still leak the leaky protection? We're going to send it. You're going to see the nickel blitzes. You're going to see different things. Safety's coming. You're going to see that zero blitz that gave the Rams trouble, right? Everybody on the line, and we're sending everyone. You're going to see all those things, because they're going to test to see if the Rams on a short week, have you fixed it? Have you fixed those problems? Because if you haven't,
it's coming. Isn't that called a heat check in basketball? See if you're hot? Yeah.
Shoot it from half court.
Why not? It might go in. Yeah.
Matt Gay connecting on field goals from midfield, a 53-yard game winner to seal it in overtime against Baltimore. Set an NFL record for 4 in a game from 50+. Good to see him thriving after signing the richest free agent kicker contract in NFL history. So it's not just Samson, it's our friend Jake Funk and Matt Gay.
Is it good to see that, though?
I will always love you, except this week.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's one of those things, like, I love you, but you're doing it for somebody else now. That doesn't make me feel good.
You went and got it in Justin Tucker's house.
I'd rather you be at home.
Thank you.
Hey,
Thank you for the bling, but
hard for me to ever be mad at the Colts for allowing him out of their building to come help the Rams win a Super Bowl.
No question. Now he's back.
And Brett Maher's been excellent for the Rams too. So we'll see if one of them decides the game. Aside from not letting Matt Gay beat you at the buzzer, who's got a key to victory for me to close this out?
Man, you want to go first?
No, go ahead.
Well, look, it comes back to running the football, and maybe it's not a systematic thing. It might be a who's running the football type thing. We'll see. But I think you have to keep defenses more honest than what you did on Monday night. You have to. If not, they're going to pin their ears back. And this whole thing is centered around one guy.
Keeping him upright. Keeping
Matthew Stafford upright and healthy. If not, then, all bets are off. So whatever happened on Monday night cannot happen again on Sunday night. So I guess I'll sum it up the best way. Running the football takes a lot of pressure off your quarterback, and I think that's the way you need to go.
So if it takes losing a battle, so be it. Don't lose the war of this season by putting him in harm's way.
100%.
The last time we went to Indy, it was a marquee matchup, and I think it's going to be marquee again.
What, Carson Wentz?
No. It was Aaron Donald versus Quentin Nelson.
Yeah,
I think that's going to be that. To me, is going to be that's going to determine whether or not the Rams win or lose. Can you put your best player on their best player, and who wins? Right? If Nelson starts to get push and they can run the football, we're going to have a problem.
Did you say push on Aaron?
That's what I said. I said if. I said if. Or can Aaron Donald dominate him like he did the last time? And if you dominate them, now all of a sudden you make them play left-handed because they want to run the football. Now they got to drop back and throw, puts us in the position to do what we want to do and get after the quarterback. It's like we said it before. It's like Marquez versus Pacquiao.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is round 2. All right, let's figure this thing out.
I'm looking at matching game plans. I'm looking at Shane Steichen, Philadelphia Eagles offensive coordinator, teaming with Jim Bob Cooter against Raheem Morris, who was a finalist for that job. Remember late January, early February, we thought Rams might be looking for a new defensive coordinator. Ultimately, they picked the offensive mind. Most NFL franchises, most owners are these days, especially when they're planning to draft a rookie quarterback like they ended up doing.
Unless you're Chicago.
I get it.
Mm-hmm.
I see you. They might just be playing the long game. They might be doing it back to back.
Wow.
But like, if you're Raheem Morris, go show them what they're missing.
Yeah.
Right? This would be a great game to go win again on defense. Pitch a shutout against a rookie quarterback and make them rethink the choice that they made early in 2023, right?
Leave no doubt. Absolutely.
Glad he's a Ram.
Very much so.
Me too. That's why I'm like Matt Gay. He's on the other side right now.
We'll leave it there. We'll fly
Let's
to
go.
Indianapolis. Sean McVay and the Rams have been excellent as a West Coast team in the early window in the East Coast. Let's hope they can continue that. Week 4 coming your way. Rams and Colts. Thanks for being with us for Between the Horns, presented by your Southern California Toyota dealers. Nap time for MJD, D'Marco Farr, and me, JB.